Welcome to High Desert Bees. I'm about to do another full hive inspection to see where we're at with all the bars. I haven't done one in a while. Actually, I did a few weeks ago, but my video skills by myself are not as good as my lovely assistant. So we're going to smoke the bees again. We want to make sure we get calmed down. I'm going to move the divider back. We'll smoke inside there a little bit too. Make sure it's cool. It's nice and cool. Put that down on the ground because we don't want the bottom to burn the top here. Anyway, we're going to start from the bottom back. So I have a total of 15 bars. We're going to see how many we have total. I think the first three are empty bars. But I have noticed from looking through the observation window that we're starting to get some brace comb or burr comb because some of the comb is getting heavy, so the bees support it on the sides. So I'll have to cut it because if I try to pull it when it's supported, it's going to break or honey's going to spill out. Anyway, let's see what we've got. So, yep, bar number 15 is empty, so I'm going to take a few notes here just to make sure. Let's see here, today is, I think, August 3rd. 15, empty. 14, empty. 13, empty. Now, when I try to lift it, I can't lift it very easily anymore because of all the propolis that the bees have. So, as you can see, I pulled up this bar here, but it actually took two. So this is why you have your handy dandy hive tool. You just kind of stick it in and turn. There's a lovely bee right there. So number 12 is empty, but if you want to come look at the edge here, can you see the propolis? So that's all the propolis. So this is what the bees use to stick together when they don't want the insulation. So that's made out of sap that they just get off of plants and trees, off of the bark. They harvest that to make this propolis. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4 bars that are empty. So 15, 14, 13, 12. Empty. But now number 8 I can see is a comb. It doesn't look like it's attached, so I'm just going to lift it up. And when I say number 8, it's the number on the bar, but it's not actually the number 8 bar because I put extra bars in between. So number 8. So I don't want to squish this little guy, so I'm going to blow him. Okay. So we're going to see if this is a honey bar. So I'm going to brush these off. Ah, look at that. Okay, so we can see that this bar, it's not concave capped. Concave, kind of beige capped, is brood. This is all actually a little bit convex, all capped. So this is a honey bar. So where they are, that is all honey. So if we lift it up, should be able to turn it around. Well, I can't see much because of all the bees there. And now, while we do this inspection, we try to look for the queen, but since this is honey, I don't think the queen is going to be there because the queen is usually more involved in laying eggs. So the queen will be around burr comb. Alright, I got to move my brush. Put this down like that. So that's a really good honey bar. So we'll take a note of that. So we'll put an H for honey. Now bar number 10, I put in between 2 honey bars. The reason why is because this is a smaller bar and it gives them more space to go in between the bars. So when they're in between the bars and they have a smaller one, they'll make it much more straight and they'll end up developing this one. So this one should be honey too, but it may not be developed enough to tell. So can my videographer come a little closer? If you look inside the cells, you can see there's liquid in there. So that's where they're packing honey. it's not ripe yet, so they haven't capped it, and you can tell it's very light. The capped honey is a little bit darker. So I'll move some of the bees away real lightly because it's in 90 degrees. We don't want the comb to fall off. But you should be able to see that it's a very light honey. So I think if we turn it around, and my son Jack is here helping too. So Jack, do you want to come close to see too? So all in those cells, that's light honey. You see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just be careful you don't step on any, because I would make them
Okay,
mad.
so now this bar here, bar 7, 10, we're going to say uncapped honey. But bar 7, that's where I put this between. This was the bar from before that was an almost full bar of honey. So I don't think it's braced, but I'm going to take my knife here to the side because we want to make sure I don't break any of that honey. So I'm just going to slide that in. Oh, it is, it's braced. So I'm going to cut it a little bit here. There we go. Okay, I cut it. The bees didn't like that, but it was attached and I didn't want to break it. So we'll take my hive tool. And again, as you can see, I'm kind of being a risky beekeeper. I'm not wearing any hood or hat, but my bees right now, they're still very docile. They're just too concerned about what they're doing. Oh my goodness, this bar is nice and heavy.
Oh, yeah.
So I can tell that this is a honey bar. I'm trying to blow the bees away because I don't want to crush them when I put my hand there to hold the bar. Okay, so this is a heavy bar. I can tell this is probably, geez, probably 7 pounds right here. So if we look at that, oh, look at all that delicious honey. So that's all honey, but I can see here they put some capped brood. So this is honey, but that's some capped brood on the bottom. What they'll do though is after that brood hatches, they usually will backfill it with honey. So this whole bar eventually will most likely be honey. But oh man, that's a nice heavy bar. That's some good heavy honey. We'll turn it to the side. We'll see if we can see how thick it is from the side. The honey bars are usually thicker than the brood because they want more room to put the honey in and they don't need as much room for a larvae. You can see here is where I cut it off because that's where it was bracing against the side. But oh, that looks like delicious honey. I want to take a part of it right now with my cutter, make a good piece of fresh honeycomb. But I will refrain from that because they need it. Okay, so bar 7, we will say is honey and tiny brood. Okay, now same thing. I can see it's attached down on the sides here. In fact, if I open my window, I can see it's not attached on this side, so that's good. Ouch. But let's see here. I gotta cut it here. Oh, yep. Making the bees mad now. So I'm gonna take a little more of my smoke, which I think went out, so I won't be doing smoke. Okay, so bar 6. So what do we think that is, guys? Those of you watching, what do we think that is? So to me, it looks like a lot of capped honey on the top. And then there's a little bit of brood on the bottom. So while we're doing this, since these are some brood combs, I'm going to just kind of inspect to see, do we see a queen? And I don't see a queen on that side. Let's turn it around. Let's see here. No, worker. I don't see a queen. I see a poor squished bee at the top there. Okay. So bar 6, we always say the same thing. That's honey and brood. Honey, brood. Bar 5, not attached. not attached. As you can see, the combs are getting way bigger, so I have less room to actually hold it. Before I could hold it without worrying about squishing a bee. So now here you can see I need 3 hands so I can brush it. So that bottom part, that's all brood. Now, if my videographer wants to come closer to those uncapped cells, you can see the larvae in there. Do you see that larvae? So that's larvae, so they feed that larvae until they think it's ready to mature by itself, and they'll cap it. So that's a lot of good capped brood, and as I can see, those are all girls. Those are all going to be my foragers. Those are all my workers. Drones have bigger caps. And luckily we don't see any queen cells, which is fine because that means I have a good queen. I like the bees with their heads in all the cells. That means they're filling it right now. So I got the work. I'm going to turn this over now. Let's see here. Again, let's see if we see a queen anywhere. So the workers, they lead the queen to which cells they need eggs. And I don't see it at first glance. Is that my queen? Nope. So, put that down. It's bar 5. Bar 11. Down here. It's not attached. Oh, it's attached here though. Okay. Sorry, bees. It's pretty sticky with propolis. I gotta use my hive tool, move it aside. Okay, so same thing. You can see on the top. So this is a very good brood pattern. This is a very good hive pattern. A hive that's healthy will have the honey all on the top, and then you'll see one layer that's usually uncapped where they either have pollen or they have food storage. Then the bottom is going to be the brood. So you can see the darker cells underneath the brood is where they've already had brood that's hatched. So every time they have a cocoon in there, it makes a little paper coating so it gets darker and darker. Now, do we see a queen? We're looking for the long queen with a green spot. Don't see it. Again, probably too many bees for me to check. Okay, so that is numbered 11, but it's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, number 6. 11, honey and brood. I can see it's getting darker, might get some rain, so we're going to move this aside. Okay, same thing, honey, very good brood. Okay, bee, don't sting me underneath my hat, please. Thank you. Ah, you just stung me on my chin. Ah. Ouch, that hurt. Okay, now I might need my hood. All right. Now they're getting a little testy, but I ran out of smoke.
Yeah.
So, I'll probably have a nice swollen chin later from that sting. So I think the rest is probably honey and brood. But I just want to double check and make sure what we got.
Oh, I saw the queen.
Where? On this one?
Yep.
I see the queen. So the queen has a green spot on it. It just went underneath the bunch.
Oh.
You see it, Jack?
She's got a green dot.
She's over on the right. She's crawling.
See her with the green?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the queen. Okay, so that's probably why they're a little more testy, because the queen was close.
Just slow movements. Don't make any like, fast movements.
Okay.
All right.
So again, this is all